stay here as a hearer, a witness. So I'm going to mute.
You can
And
mute.
I'm gonna,
That's fine. That's fine. Whichever way you want to
video as
participate.
well. I'm going to mute both.
So looks like we're live, which is marvelous. Okay, it says live. So let's get back to the Zoom. Why do I keep the Facebook open, but I put the volume on like 0 low so it doesn't interfere? Right, so there we go. Christine, the lady of the moment. Everybody's been looking for you. My God, you've appeared and you're alive. Thank God.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was arrested at Heathrow Airport by London Metropolitan Police. It was during a Zoom meeting. I was meeting with Andrew and the rest of the crew.
Right in the middle of the Zoom meeting, and we don't even know why you disappeared. It's amazing.
And then, so I was confused. I didn't understand why they were coming to me in a restaurant at the airport. And so they made it seem like they were investigating a child abduction. And I tried to report that I was human trafficked. My passports were stolen. My child was abducted from me July 31st, 2021, but they weren't interested in that. And so, you know, I kept saying that, but they pretended like they were trying to help me and they were listening, but then they would take those words and they would skew it into other statements where they were trying to bait me to agree that I committed this crime of child abduction September 9th. And I said, no, that's not true. That's not what happened. And so the more I wanted to talk about what actually happened, the more they got hostile and arrested me.
They have their tactics, don't they? They have their techniques, which they know how to manipulate people.
Like pretend like they're your friend.
Yeah.
But then every time you try to talk about what's really happening, it's really weird. So so they arrested me and they had to get me through the airport into their police van. And so I started to scream that I'm a victim of human trafficking. I'm a victim of human trafficking. YouTube, Christine Hillier, Hillier. There was somebody that was video recording, and I just had the sense that they knew I was telling the truth and they were trying to document for me. So I have no idea who that is and if I'll ever find that footage, but he took the footage of me being carried out by Metropolitan Police. And so it was really scary because I didn't understand. So I don't know how much of my story you guys know, but I bent over backwards trying to get my child back from these people they call social services, but they have no order signed and sealed by any judge. It didn't make any sense why they took my child. They have no evidence to substantiate their claim. I have a letter from the hospital supporting my decision-making. Mold is toxic and is bad for a child. And police and social services falsified a missing person. They illegally entered into my Airbnb and they falsified mental illness by saying, you know, mold is just a preference. So they, you know, their ego and their power and control, they felt that their position was more important than the letter from the medical doctor at the children's hospital that I went to reporting the mold. And so ever since then, it's, you know, they pretend like there's this process where you can get your child back, but there's no such thing.
Yeah, so they want to basically, you know, take the child forever. But someone told me, who's very experienced in this business, they take the child before 4 years old and they change their name, and the child apparently up to that age won't remember. They will lose their memory of her, you know, that age, and they will disconnect the child from you, and they will make a fake order that you can't publish anything, so the child will never reconnect, and they take these children into the trafficking industry, unfortunately. But yeah, carry on. So you were arrested in this way, but before that, you were arrested twice by the Merseyside police.
Oh, yeah.
And you went through a process there, and they didn't have anything on you.
Correct. Yeah.
That means there was nothing outstanding in the police national computer. And as a matter of fact, while you were missing, your mom was told by the Merseyside police that there is no outstanding business with you, no outstanding matter. So for them now to arrest you in Heathrow and saying basically there is something outstanding, which is what it sounds like they're telling you, this seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Because I believe you, before you went there, you phoned 101 and inquired when your child was taken by the police. You were told there was no warrant and there was no crime number.
No criminal number, yeah. No criminal.
And a little bit before that, you had an email from the court, from the, is it the Coventry court? Coventry
Combined Court. I get
Yeah.
lots of emails from all these different courts.
Which
So
they said they do not have a sealed order.
yes.
So
And that one was
all
the justice.
your grounds were clear. You are in a position now to actually make a claim. And I was trying to say to you, we need to get something in writing and documented. But you're a wounded mother. You're following on your instinct. You're going and you say, well, hang on, sort me out. This needs to be sorted out. I don't.
Once I was arrested, they wouldn't
Mhm.
give me a phone call. So that's exactly my response was, let me think and process before I do any interviews. Like I'd like to consult with my friend's family, but they wouldn't allow me that. They wouldn't allow me access to my phone, and I don't know, they always have a tendency to steal my electronics. So
Yeah, they love your computers, isn't it? Because you got a background in your your computer something, isn't it?
electrical engineering, and I was going into data science at UC Berkeley.
Right. So you're like computer is part of your
machine learning, and eventually artificial intelligence is an interest of mine.
And you had a background in the US Army or something.
US Air Force, and then I worked as a CVD process engineer for Samsung Austin Semiconductor, and I returned at the US Department of Defense as a electronics engineer.
So you got more brains than all these dumb cops, thinking they can just say they have a warrant and a court order and everybody's gonna just believe them. So yeah, you had everything established. The two arrests you faced in your home in St. Helens, it was confirmed there was no crime number. You weren't charged with anything anyway. Nothing was outstanding. And to my horror, and must be your horror, the police also told you they had no warrant when they took your child. And the court told you they had no sealed order. So you had the rug pulled from everybody who were claiming they had the authority of the court, because that's the only way someone can interfere with your liberty. They must have an authentic order of the court, or so you rushed off to Heathrow. You were trying to get some resolution or other between
mostly because
they took your passport.
Yeah, right. So they keep denying me my passport. There's all these, I jumped through hoops trying to figure out how to do it. And the only thing I hadn't tried was to live at the US Embassy homeless. Because the logistics just don't make any sense. It's almost as if it's a strategy that they do. They take asylum seekers and they put them really far away so that you can't possibly request your passport from your embassy.
So that was the reason you went to the airport, to try and figure out a way to get a temporary passport, I believe, or some.
Yeah. And so
because I went to America. I'll tell you a quick one, interrupt you very quickly a little bit. I actually went to America without a passport before, because I booked my holiday, and well, I got to the airport, I forgot my passport, but I had I've been to America a few times, so they said they would let me in the country, and I went in without a passport. And when I was coming back, they stopped me at the airport in the UK and said, you know, they wouldn't let me back into the UK. So I had no problem going to America. They had to wait until the airport was open at 8 o'clock, and they phoned through and they got clearance, and everything was fine. So I'm not an American, and I've been to America without a passport, without a visa. And it wasn't that long ago. So
starts to look really suspicious. Yeah, how long was it? Because I know Clarice was able to get back home without a passport, but that was 2 years ago. So
when I was coming back into the UK, there was a little problem. I think it was American Airlines. And I found out they said they were gonna be charged £10,000 if I came back in the country and I didn't have documentation. So in the end, I said, here's my credit card. You can keep it, or you can take 10,000 off and give it back to me. And then they just said, fine. Because the £10,000 was their concern, not nothing else. So you are an American citizen, and you're having trouble flying to America, and nobody has a court order, nobody has a warrant, and that's all been confirmed to you. So I can see your logic that you're just gonna go to the airport and try and between the embassy and the airport, try and get something resolved, even a temporary passport, which I think they offered you, didn't they? Hi, Andy.
May I just add something, because I'm obviously
Sure,
I'm going to have to leave you like, yeah. But something that stood out from today when Christine's mum phoned the American embassy was the fact that they stated very clearly that if Christine was to be arrested in England by an English policeman, although that the American embassy wouldn't bother with anything because it was the English law, but they did state that if she was arrested by the English police, that they are to notify the American embassy that there's an American been arrested in England. That, I think, was a poignant point. There's one part of the procedural rules that they've breached, let's say. But just on that note, like, yeah, and I'm so happy to see you're here. Because I've been out, and I've just noticed the fact that you're fucking free. So I said, fuck it, I've just pressed that button, I've came on. So thank fuck you.
It's a little more complicated than that, but you'll find out in a minute.
Almost.
Yeah.
Send me free.
I hear you've they've sectioned you. I've read that a bit as well.
Yeah, that was the only way to get me out of there. I was there for almost a week in jail, as an innocent person without any orders, warrant.
No due process. No due process.
Yeah, and you're back in the same hospital that they previously did an inspection.
Capacity assessment. Yeah, and actually the NHS repeatedly said no to them, because they, the NHS was like, no, we're not gonna assess her again. You guys keep having us assess her. We watched her over 3 weeks, and she exhibited no signs of mental illness. Like, we're not coming back. And so that was actually another reason why I was stuck there for so long, was because it seemed like I was going to go to prison in a court that doesn't exist. That was the only other option.
And the NHS are they're being kosher with you. They're being good with you.
Yeah, they're being really kind.
But
And
this is the thing. This is the thing, Christine, just to make it clear. I know we kind of said it, Andy said it, but just repeat it. The same hospital that you're in now, Whiston, a couple of weeks ago, or less than that, assessed you and passed you fit.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's like the COVID, they're gonna give you a test every day and eventually.
And the beauty of that same inspection was the fact that you sounded crazy because of what you were saying first time, and then because of what the phone call with that police that was live streamed exposed to them.
Neil Billsborough.
So you've already proven that you may have sounded crazy because of what you're saying is going down has already been proven once, and therefore you was accepted. So what you're now saying again too now is the fact, is anybody here qualified to actually hear what I'm saying? Is anybody here qualified to understand exactly the depth and the concept of exactly what's actually just happened to me? Because if you're not, how can you qualify to say that you can assess me whether I'm mentally crazy or not? Because I know it sounds fucking crazy. I'll agree with you. But I need somebody here that's qualified to assess the facts of what's actually going down here, what's actually happened to me. Because, you know, this is, this needs superior. You need people that are actually of the knowledge to assess exactly what's actually going down here, to make an assessment. Because if you don't have the knowledge, you can't make that assessment. And that's an important part of it. Because otherwise it's going to sound like I'm grand delusional if I was to even talk about any of this.
But, yeah, so what you're saying, Andy, to feedback on that, I believe Christine, the last time they were doing an assessment, you showed them the video of the Inspector Neil Billsborough talking. Is that correct?
I didn't. We didn't have time for that, but my mom was there to vouch. But
but you told them about it.
Yeah, de-arrested twice in 14 hours, and we had a good laugh at the end of it. And they said, "Yeah, this is obviously a stressful situation." And you had a big blow on your head. I saw the picture. I can't believe it. The police did that. Smack you on the head and then take you off for a mental assessment. Wow. Mm-hmm. Welcome to British policing.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I mean, that's the so just say, because I'm going to love you and leave you. Are you recording this, by the way, Anthony? Are you recording this?
It is live on Facebook.
Oh, it's live on Facebook, even better still.
I thought, you know what? I thought while it's fresh, while we're hearing the story for the first time with that energy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Even though we're all tired.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to see Andrew and Daniel. I think we're all on different time zones, so
yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it's like everything else, sod's law, isn't it? I've been trying to get through to at night, obviously, because I'm out on a names day and I'm out celebrating with some guys. So I've come away just pure and simple because I've just seen the fact that you're free. I thought, God, that's it. So I'm coming out.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Thank you guys so much. Like, even
I was telling her we did a 3-hour live today talking about and show that's a crazy 3 hours. I'm telling you.
No.
Because we brought up all the videos with the harassment, and because another cop came after your mom, another household came after your mom today. So we, I put this picture of wanted child abuser. I'll see if I can bring it up later. But so Andy, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Yeah, but you're doing a great job. I'm so glad it's being recorded, because you've got to record everything. Everything's got to be recorded because, like I say, people ain't gonna believe it. People ain't gonna believe this, and seeing is believing. So, thank God it's recorded.
Right.
So, God bless you being out.
Thank you guys all so much because
bye, Andy.
It gave me so much strength while I was isolated. It was very impactful.
Christine, you stand in the truth. That's it. You stand in the truth. You stay with the facts, and just don't just stay with everything that you know, everything that you can prove, and you're within God's armor, so to say. Don't, because I mean, obviously, it's very difficult when you're explaining this, because anyone's going to find it hard to believe, and you can sort of, although you shouldn't, but you can forgive them for thinking you're fucking crazy to explain what's going on. But like I say, never go express anything more than you can prove, only than what you've got in your hand, because if they take your computer off you and you can't get back out of that computer because they won't give it back, then well, say, how can you prove that? Honestly, so be very careful. As much as they may appear very nice, and they may be nice, but always be wary that they could be using it against you. Don't trust anybody. Yeah, just stick with what you're doing. On that note, I'm going to love you, leave you. You're more than capable. You're more than capable. I know you are. Just keep you cool. Stay. Yeah, you've gone through. You've gone through more than most people could imagine. You're doing a grand job. I love you to bits. Never give in, and keep smiling. God bless. Cheers, Anthony. Thank you, Chloe.
Enjoy.
Goodbye, Kelly. Good night, Kalinita.
Yeah. So yeah, so you decide. So you were there trying to sort out your travel document, temporary or something. Yeah.
Because they kept giving me all kinds of excuses. They were, at one point, they were using the stigma of mental illness as a reason to endlessly delay my return of my passports. I read that to withdraw an asylum claim, all you have to do is request your passports back, and that's a withdrawal. Right. So they were trying their best to stop that, and I just didn't understand. You know, I couldn't believe it because I didn't, but they just kept doing this, and it's like, is this a pattern?
Yeah. Well, sometimes, you know what it is, they were a one-trick pony. They have one trick and they don't have a plan B, and they just keep repeating the same trick over and over and over. But once you know the trick, you can just laugh because go, oh, there it goes again. So, you know, you got the mental health. Imagine you're in the same hospital you were cleared on a matter of days ago. So that means they don't have another trick. You know, the false arrest and the mental health. That's, I mean, when I was arrested, same time as you, same day, on the 19th of November, the lady at the custody thing that was interviewing me was saying she was reading me my rights. She said, I got 3 rights. I said, what happened to all my other rights? Who took them? And then she's going on about rights. So I said, do I have inalienable rights? She goes, okay, I'm going to declare you unfit to answer questions, and I'm going to lock you up until you see a mental health or psychiatrist. Can you imagine? I can't wait to get that videotape. I'm sure they're going to say it's not available or it's been destroyed or some, they will, you know. But this is it, false court order and mental health fraud. This meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. So I don't have the unlimited Zoom. So we're going to have to redo it, or we can wrap up our thing in 10 minutes. Maybe we should just try and wrap it up. But you are back, and they gave you the choice to go for a trial or go into a mental hospital or something.
So they repeatedly were trying to get the NHS to assess me, but because the NHS was so familiar with me by this point, NHS refused. They're like, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, they're like, yeah. And so I was like, oh, that's really great. I've got on the same page with the NHS. They know that I don't suffer from mental illness, but then why don't I have my child back? Because that was the fraud of how they took my child. And but then it got to a certain point where they kept giving me all these time limits. They said, you know, I can't be detained for more than 24 hours, but then they moved me to another police station. Okay, now I can't be detained for more than 24 hours, but then they choose to charge me. Well, before they chose to charge me, they gave me a chance to do an interview, and they gave me a solicitor. But based on our experiences, I knew that could go in a very bad direction. There was a very good chance of that. So I said I didn't want anybody to represent me. And but I wanted to consult with everyone first before doing an interview like that, because in American law, if you can, you don't have to respond. You have a right not to respond to everything. But it seemed like it was being explained to me that if you don't answer certain questions, then that can actually be held against you in UK law. And so that's different. It's all
bullshit. It's all bullshit. You ask them who is the accuser. They're finished already. Yeah. It's all bullshit.
And then I asked that too, and they couldn't. They said
Yeah.
social services. They wouldn't even name the social services.
No, it has to be a man or woman. Simple. It can't be nothing else. Social services can't talk.
There's a corporation that yeah. And London Police, Metropolitan Police, when I was asking these questions, they took it seriously, but they kind of had blind faith in West Midlands Police.
But it doesn't matter. You ask the question. When I was in my arrest, which is related to your case, it's I asked them who is the accuser. They said to me, Pullman Property. I said that can't be accusing me. Who in Pullman Property? And later on, I had it in writing from Pullman Property. They never called the police, so they actually lied to me. You know, so we can catch them all over and over and over. So what I'm accusing you of? So I'm the accuser now, right? So is that you took these steps? We had all the confessions. They said you never had a crime number for the 2 arrests. They said the court said they never had a sealed order. And the 101 said they had no warrant nor any crime number when they took your trial. So you have all the trump cards, Christine. And what did I say to you now? What the next move?
I actually don't remember what was the next move. Did you say?
It's got to be in writing.
Oh, in writing. Yeah, definitely.
This is what I'm saying.
I get that.
You did. You're the only one who can decide. But I'm saying next move is in writing.
Yeah.
Because when it's documented, nobody can argue with it.
Exactly.
What you said, it's black and white. Black and white is not perfect, but it can't be debated. What you put is there. So when they were asking and arguing with you and all that, that would have killed it. Plus, it would have been your crime report. You understand? Not somebody else's allegation that they can't name and stuff.
Yeah.
But all those things are still there. They haven't changed. And the fact that they've done more harm to you, it's only going to put them in a bad light, and it's only going to, in the long run, help your case, in my opinion. There is no claim against you. There's no order against you. There is no charge against you. They're making up a charge here. They don't have an accuser. If they say it's social services, you got in writing that there is no sealed order. So that is dead already. You understand? Mental health, you're in the same hospital that cleared you already. We can't do double jeopardy now. So it's a question of recovering your energy, resting, restoring, and you make the demand. They can only now, I wouldn't be scared to come out and go into trial, because they have to charge you and ask you to plead guilty or not guilty. They will not tell you that you can say no case to answer. We've got 4 minutes left, yeah? They will not tell you, but that's what you can say. I have no case to answer because there's no accuser here. And then if they charge you, then they have to release you on bail if they want to, they have a trial. And then they have to set a trial. Then in between that time, they have to give you the prosecution, which, believe me, they won't have. So we know the roadmap already. And plus what was already done to you, you're going to ask for that to be brought into the case. So you're in an unassailable position. It's for us to screw up, but everything is there. You know?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning that roadmap from you, because I don't fully understand.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if they charge you and take you to court, only thing they can do, they're going to say, okay, you plead guilty or you plead not guilty. We're going to set a trial date. They have to release you maybe on bail, maybe not on bail. They set a trial date. And in between that time, that's where you smash the case. I've destroyed hundreds like this. because by the time it gets to trial, they can't produce the material. Like Jason's case, they couldn't produce. So we turn it around. Which, look, when we send that letter off to the social service, how long you been with them arguing and stuff? And it's a long time, right? A year or so.
2021 has been.
And we sent off that letter, and how many hours they took to reply?
Within a few hours, really. They were pretty quick
Right.
by
So-
the next morning.
Right. So say 4 hours. We had a 4-hour result. Do you understand? So everything in this matter, you have already established on your side of the table. All the chips are with you. They only have violence. They have no other substance. All the chips are with you. So you just have to restore your energy, come out, sort your mom out, get your heater for the flat, and settle down, get some stability. Don't expect overnight anything. But if we can get a result like that, they don't have a sealed order in 4 hours. Just imagine. You get it confirmed. There was no warrant. You have to just take some time and slow down. I'm telling everybody, slow down, watch the video in slow motion, not fast forward.
Yeah, it's been great progress. We've made really good
In
progress.
0 time. And I think if you had just stayed a day or two and let us update that crime report with all those videos and stuff,
It would have been solved
it
already.
would be in the system. You wouldn't have to be arguing with anybody, and you would have a hard copy on you. You just give them a copy and stop and don't talk. So you better talk now, because we got 1.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I was confused about the process because I had not gone through that process.
Yeah.
Being charged before. And so I was referring to the people that were holding me there, captured.
Yeah.
And so they would tell me, you're here for 24 hours, and they'd extend it another 24 hours, another 24 hours. And then at a certain point they said, this is unusual. This doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
So they finally got, so I mean, I wanted time to, I didn't want to do a video interview. I just wanted to do it the way that I've seen works through you, letters and
You document.
questions. Yeah. And
the document is in the system. Emails, what electronic, it's there. You're a computer person, you know the power. Computer can't forget.
Yeah. So just I guess when you're working with the corrupt mafia or dealing with them, just have something written, your numbers.
We know their weakness. We know their strength, which is violence, and we know their weakness. They got no law on their side. End.
Lots and lots of tactics, pretending to be your friends while they're doing all this other stuff, trying to.
You see what we did? 4-hour result. Can you imagine how many lawyers you had and other people and other things? 4 hour, same day result. We don't have a sealed order. I mean, come on.
A question, is it